we were talking long enough, Mike. I think we got to talk about a new modern title,
we do.
pushing the boundaries of accessibility.
Oh, I am very excited to talk about this. I think I was. Did I send it to you?
Yeah, you
Maybe.
did. Sure did.
But oh wait. Okay, my order was out of control here. Yeah, I gotta fix that later. But this is about Forza, one of my favorite games of like franchises. I love racing games. Big fan, always have been, always my go-to. And this has come from The Verge. This is Tom Warren, our boy, that we don't really know. We're
I wish we
talking
did.
parasocial relationships, dude.
One day, baby. Come
He's
on.
always breaking like the fire, man. Always. Have you
Senior
noticed that?
editor, dude. Got the connect.
Yes, he does. So this one is about how the next Forza will help blind players race by listening to beeps and boops. Forza Motorsport is coming this year and will be the most accessible Forza ever. So Forza is arriving later this year with all the usual improvements. I gotta zoom this in. My contacts are expired pretty much. Sorry, guys. maybe I'll stop mumbling so much. All right, so this year, with all the usual improvements in visual immersion and fidelity you'd expect from the latest Forza, but it's also going to let players who are blind or have low vision race around tracks by listening for beeps and boops. These clever audio cues make Forza Motorsport the most accessible Forza titled ever. And Turn 10 Studios, the people who make Forza, has teamed up with the accessibility consultant and blind gamer Brandon Cole to listen to these audio cues and make racing blind in Forza Motorsport a reality. In the past, Cole has worked with Naughty Dog to improve accessibility in The Last of Us on PlayStation and has been pushing for game developers on this issue for more than a decade. I wonder if that's why The Last of Us is like their audio is so good.
Yeah.
Like their spatial audio is really good.
I mean, their accessibility too is like next to none, especially whenever like Last of Us 2 came out. It was insane.
That's pretty cool. I love seeing this. People don't know this. I don't openly say it, but it's like I'm also colorblind, and only recently, like some of my favorite titles are now adding those options. It's like it's now all standard, but there were games for a while I couldn't like shooters, dude. Halo 2 on Warlock, I couldn't tell the colors at all. So what ended up happening is like I would have to ask other people what the colors were of the map, because if you play competitively in certain games, you need to know positional awareness, and people that have normal color vision use colors. So I would memorize the colors based on what other people would say. So I couldn't visually look at it. I had to do everything by memory.
Oh man. Yeah, that's just another layer for
It
you.
was ruthless. And Halo 5, another reason why I hate Halo 5 is all the maps look the same. And there's no color differential whatsoever. Man. So it was like, dude, I had to do this for Halo 2, and now you're making me do it for Halo 5 15 years later, basically. Like, I was so upset. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get back into actual literal blindness, because this is fascinating to me. Prior to this work, Cole wasn't super impressed with Microsoft Xbox accessibility work, and he decided to make that clear. Microsoft invited Cole to talk directly to Xbox developers in 2020 about the state of accessibility for people with total blindness. And this is his quote: "I felt that, at the time, we had been kind of left behind by Xbox. And here we were with The Last of Us on PlayStation and had fully accessible to the blind. And we had nothing on Xbox that was alternative to that. So I said so." And then says Cole in an interview with The Verge. "That way of speaking and honesty got me the job. I said games are not for everyone until they are." Like, hey, let's go, dude.
That's literally that's the credit like note right there. That's the sentence.
It really is.
Games are not for everyone until they are. Cut to black.
I mean, it is. I think this is truly fascinating to see more and more games adding stuff for the blind, because a lot of people don't. I feel like a lot of people don't understand, like, there's different degrees of blindness. Like, I know people that are legally blind, but they can read. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're like, their vision is so poor, and there's nothing they can do to correct it. Like, no amount of glasses, no amount of laser surgery, like LASIK surgery, all this kind of stuff. It will never improve their eyesight. So they're just legally blind. They can't drive. They can't do things. But it's like, if you're at home and you're not at risk, it's like, why can't I play racing games for once? It's like they're not legally allowed to drive. Let them drive and race and play games so they can at least experience some stuff like that, you know?
It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, I think the whole accessibility thing, I'm always an advocate for it because I think it's, the more people that can play games, the more people that can experience this, and the more people
Hmm.
that are included, it's
Yes.
just, I don't know, it makes it like brings me joy just knowing that other people can experience it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just, but like especially when we see these innovations, there's clear ways like developers are able to make improvements, that are like just creative and innovative. It just, I don't know, it grows gaming as well. So I mean, yeah, it only makes sense. And I mean, Steve Saylor, he's another I think I can't remember if he's fully blind or he's legally blind, but he ended up getting hired, I want to say by like Naughty Dog. It was one of the studios. And he helped with a lot of their accessibility stuff. And I think he helped out with Last of Us Part 2 as well in the accessibility department. And like that game, we all saw accessibility wise how inclusive that game was. So um I mean, I think it's really cool to see, these studios like they're actually, going to like, the source and they're saying like, hey, what can we do better? And then like in turn, they're like, I mean, you're giving a lot of good feedback. You want a job? Like, and like we could really use
That's so
we could
cool.
really use this on other studios. So yeah, dude, I think this is awesome. I mean, yeah, and for a racing game, like the ability for a racing game to be able to be accessible to blind people is like, I mean,
Yeah.
this is like massive,
It's
So
huge, man. It's a very big deal, and it doesn't really like. I feel like it might get slipped under the radar, which is why I'm excited we're talking about it. Is
yeah.
like being blind is kind of a minority, pretty much statistically speaking, and it's like to see it being a priority focus in different developers of like, hey, well, we already figured out like how to do things, make things very visually stunning, but it's like, how do we make it so people that can't literally see the visual stunning aspects of the game, but can still experience it and then have the audio cues that are like really high advanced and make it super easy for them to play as well.
Yeah.
It's like that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Dude, come on. Who who at one point doesn't like the sound of like just a revving race car or like a revving like
It's a
Mustang or
fact,
something like that? You know
dude.
what I mean? Like you hear that's like, oh baby.
That's
So
some
yeah.
DNA crap. Like that's like a that's like a
Buried in the
lion.
bones, baby.
Yeah, everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, man, because like back in the day, games like headsets in gaming wasn't a common thing, especially on consoles. Like I think it only became a thing really in like mid 2000s,
Yeah.
2005,
Yeah.
like became
Like Xbox
accessible
era.
for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before that, we were using like really crappy TVs and really crappy like monotone speakers. And now it's like everybody's got headphones. Every like these headphones now are like $300 and they're super good. It's like
Yeah.
better than the studios from our favorite music growing up in the 90s
Yeah.
that they were using. It was like
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
so
dude,
much
it's
potential
insane.
for it to get better, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's another interesting piece of history too, right? Because like until competitive gaming really popped off in the mid 2000s, there was no real
Yeah.
reason to have a headset. And certainly like if you're playing live, like the only reason to have a headset was a little earpiece to talk to people and that was it. No game audio, right?
100%, yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
with competitive gaming, it's like people started to realize how important like using the sound around you was. And so yeah, dude, that's when the headset market started popping off. And here we are. Everyone's using it in games now. I don't think
Yeah.
unless you're playing like an older game, like if you're playing a modern day shooter, you're using a headset. Like you're not
Oh,
using
well,
speakers,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah, that used to give you the edge, man, because
yeah.
I remember that like early 2010s, people still didn't have the headsets, but the people that were very serious about gaming would have headsets and they'd be on monitors, like higher refresh rates on console, mind you. And they'll just destroy everybody because everybody else is on like a really big, slow TV that has like the audio coming through it. And then like I was teaming with a guy in Halo 5 and he was literally using his phone to talk to us.
That's
Like he
insane.
like
Uh,
instead of buying a headset, I was like, dude, I will send you a headset. Like Turtle Beach is $20, bro. Like, come on.
Turtle Beach, dude. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I remember towards like, COD Black Ops, like around that time, whenever I started getting more serious about gaming. I gamed on a TV for the longest time. And like I
Oh yeah.
honestly I don't even think I got a monitor until like end of high school or college. Like that's when I
Oh,
started really getting
that
serious
changed your
about it.
life.
Yeah, I mean it's
That
like and for the longest time like we would just get annihilated and like MLG like little like pop up like MLG tournaments for COD and stuff like
oh
that.
yeah.
And we're finding out like just the hardware alone, it's like everyone that was above us,
Oh,
they're
they have the
using these
advantage.
like insane monitors, 1 millisecond response
Oh
time,
yeah,
and they're like they have Astros, and they're like just going hard, and it's like, dude, their hardware, it's like that's
so much
insane.
better.
Like it's just like it's definitely giving them some sort of edge, having a top of the line monitor and a headset.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I like to think there are different degrees of gamer. If that makes sense. Maybe I shouldn't say degrees, it's just types, really. Like there's genres in gaming,
yeah,
but there's like types of gamers. It's like some gamers they just want their speakers, like they're like what are they called? Monitors like on the corner of their desk and they're over here playing like WoW or like I don't know, Destiny, just running around shooting their guns, having a good time.
yeah,
And then there's like a different like type of gamer that's like fully into it with like all the headsets, all the hookups, all the different color filters, all like the
right.
optimization going on with their hardware. Then you got like a whole other one where they're just sitting on the couch, lounge back and not taking it seriously.
So
And they're all playing the same game at the same time, you know?
yeah,
It's like
it's true. Yeah, dude. I mean, a goal for me one day. I mean, we're talking about headset and stuff. Like a true like a bucket list gaming item for me would be to like play on a couch in like an acoustically treated room with surround sound speakers. I feel like that'd be an
you've never
experience.
done that?
I've like with like
Oh,
true surround sound. I've never done that. You have like speakers behind you, in front of you. Like, dude, it'd be insane.
dude. High school, I dated this girl whose dad was a big audio guy, big into movies.
Okay,
He set up an entire theater in their basement, like
dude,
proper
nice.
theater. Oh yeah, we were on like sofas, lounge back. There were like legit sofas. Like one level was on the ground, and then it was the other one was lifted up, and then the other one
Oh,
behind
okay.
that's lifted up. Projectors,
Oh
all this
shoot.
stuff. Like, oh
Uh,
yeah, the speakers, the sounds were. Oh, they were so. I think they were all Bose too.
oh
Like when
baby.
Bose was the highest of the high line
Yeah.
at the time. I don't know if they were ever there, but I just remember knowing Bose was like really good at the
Yeah.
time. And I can't remember what game we were playing, but it was on PlayStation and it was amazing. I
Dude,
was
yeah.
like, I was like, yo, I might like be here more often. And she's like, yeah, come over. You don't need her to be here. Like, all right.
I bet. Yeah, it's good. I don't know. Yeah, accessibility. Huge
It's
strides,
cool,
right?
man.
And I think,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think focusing on audio is more commonplace in gaming, and it's a good thing.